You are listening to the It's Your Time podcast, and I'm your host, Certified Life Coach Michelle Arnold Burke. In today's episode, I'm sharing a fun, if you only knew, 19 years in medical device sales and the truth about trusting yourself. Welcome to the It's Your Time podcast, the podcast where busy professionals like you get the practical solutions and support you need to gain control of your schedule so you can strive to be the best in your career, but without the stress and overwhelm. If you're looking to increase your energy and decrease your stress, you are in the right place. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. Well, I say that for every podcast episode, I think. So usually for every 10 episodes, I bring you an interview or a book review or maybe a special mentor. But today I am changing it up and I am sharing some personal reflections on my 19 years in medical device sales. But more importantly, I am sharing a lot about what I have learned over the years around mindset, energy, success, and most importantly, trusting yourself. Because if you only knew how powerful and wise you already are, you would stop holding back. And I'm using this episode because I just hit the 19-year mark in July. And these are some of the things that I wish my younger self knew, things that I want to share with you no matter what age you're at, so that hopefully you can step into feeling more energized in your life and maybe, just maybe, less stressed and overwhelmed. Okay, so let's start with one of the first truths, because honestly, 19 years in this industry has taught me a lot. This podcast episode could not nearly cover it all. And I'll start with saying medical device sales is not for the faint of heart. It is competitive. It is fast-paced. It is often male-dominated, and you are constantly expected to perform with precision, under pressure, and without excuses. And yet, even with all of that, what's kept me here is something deeper, not just the thrill of closing the deal, which I have talked about here on the podcast before, not just the technology and the patient outcomes, which for sure is some of the coolest stuff that we're able to do, but for the transformation within me. And this is not just something that you get in medical device, right? It is something that you choose to take part in every single day. And if I had known back then what I know now, I would have stopped second guessing myself so often. I would have owned my energy. I would have stopped trying to prove that I belonged and maybe just believed it. And I want you to know that you belong, especially if you're a woman in sales or thinking about getting into it. We need more women who don't just enter the field, but stay and thrive in it. And it's fascinating. We were just on vacation. One of the young gals at the pool was so good. She was having amazing conversations. She was taking care of everyone who needed either a drink or food or the kids. And I started talking to her about getting into sales. And she was like, oh, no, not sales. I hear that so often. And quite honestly, I'm sure I thought that at one point, because I don't think there are too many people that say, I want to grow up and be a salesperson. But the truth is, we all sell. We all sell in life. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. There is this stigma around sales that I think holds so many amazing young women back. And the numbers show it, right? Only about 25% of sales professionals in B2B industries, like medical device sales, are women. And when you move into leadership roles, the numbers are even worse. That drops to closer to 12%. And why do we think this? I talk about this a lot in my employee resource group that I've mentioned here, Aspire. I think some of it goes to the reason that people, women especially, leave sales, because there is this burnout from always being quote unquote on, right? The constant proving and people pleasing cycle. Sometimes the lack of mentorship and flexible structures. For sure, the boys' club culture that's still alive in many rooms. And yet, study after study shows that when women are in sales, they outperform their male counterparts in long-term client retention, empathy-based decision-making, and high-value deal nurturing. We need more good women sticking around, because it's not just about the numbers. It's about representation, innovation, impact, changing people's lives. And I also think it's more about having really good folks making really good money, and you can make really good money in sales. Money is energy, and we want the flow of money to be in the hands of those people that will do great things with it. Money mindset work is one thing that is so important. I continue to work on this. Selling is not a bad thing. Making money is not a bad thing. Success is not a bad thing. It all comes down to your mindset around everything. And I think for women, we have often been socialized that is more important to be nice and to please others versus stepping into what it is that brings us joy, what it is that we want to do. And if you have been with me here for a while, you may or may not have heard me say some version of you don't get what you want, you get what you believe you are worthy of. So even if you are saying you want X, but you do not believe that you are worthy, most likely you are not going to get it. And this is the neuroscience and psychology at work that I often talk about, the reticular activating system. This is where your brain filters what you notice based on what you believe. So if you believe, I'm not good enough, or I really shouldn't step into that role, guess what? You will unconsciously look for evidence to support that. Neuroplasticity tells us we can rewire our brain through intentional thought repetition. Every time you shift from something like, I'm behind, to I'm learning and growing, you carve a new neural pathway. Think about it just even as simple as like a path down a road, right? If you're just starting the road, it's probably rocky, there's a lot of dirt, it's going to take a while, but as you think it over and over and over, the neural pathway becomes like a superhighway. It's your easy go-to thought that you just start believing. That is intentional work. It is something that you have to, on purpose, decide, do you want to unlearn what you've been told for years and take on new beliefs? And also, the concept of self-efficacy, that is your belief in your ability to succeed. It is directly correlated with higher sales performance. When you build identity-aligned habits and believe you can figure things out, your follow-up, your creativity, and your persistence will skyrocket. So yes, the numbers matter, the quotas matter, of course, but your beliefs matter most. And before I go too far, as a reminder, that is why I developed the Priority Playbook. It's not just a time management tool. It's a neuroscience-backed system to help you shift from reactive chaos into intentional energy alignment. So go grab it now, michellebergcoaching.com/playbook. And when you get it, you'll also get on my email list. So that's where you can have exclusive free tools each week that help you build momentum without burnout. You have personal access to me if you have any questions. And we're really working on some fun ideas for the second half of the year. That's where you find out as I start releasing them. So be sure to check it out. Okay, the other thing you may have heard me say once or twice here is that I am in it for the long run. Longevity in sales is a skill and a mindset. And I cannot tell you how much it burns me up when I see people on the socials who have only been in the industry for maybe 3 to 5 years, giving folks ideas around what medical device sales is. Quite frankly, they're not realistic. In fact, when we were at the pool bar, same vacation, this kid graduating from college was telling us that he wanted to start in medical device sales and also open a gym to be a strength coach. But he heard the hours for the strength coach might be a little long. And he heard that the medical device sales, well, those people were able to make a lot of money. This is what happens. The people that are out there telling us what it means to be in medical device sales are not the ones who are typically in it for the long run. I would love to see, if we fast forward down through the years, where it is that these folks, right, like our young friend at the bar who thinks that it's about helping people and about making money, which yes, it is, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes with it. I'd love to see where they are. And I actually feel a little bad for them because they just don't have quite a grasp on what it is that is actually done. Technically, I guess, though, it is correct. They can help you get into sales. So the question is, will you stick around once you actually see what it is that happens, right? And there's a reason that I've been here, maybe 1 or 2 reasons, including being crazy, right, for nearly 2 decades. It's because I've learned how to adapt without abandoning myself. Success isn't about sprinting through one quarter and then crashing. It's about building habits and systems that allow you to prioritize what matters, to recover quickly from setbacks, to work from your values, not just your to-do list. Neuroscience shows us that consistency trumps intensity. And we talk about that all of the time here, especially when it comes to change. Just like James Clear says, small changes, 1% improvement over time can compound into sustainable growth. So whether you're in year 1 or 19, remind yourself, I'm building for the long run. I am not here to burn out. I am here to break through. And as you remind yourself of this, I want to remind you that all of the work, the success, it is not at the expense of yourself. And what I mean is boundaries, perfectionism, and people pleasing. Let's let the perfectionism and the people pleasing go. Let's start implementing boundaries, because there's one thing for my high achieving women, especially, that I see over and over that I would love for us to drop. It is that perfectionism. It is often a trauma response to avoid judgment. And the people pleasing, that's the nervous system trying to stay safe by making sure everyone else is happy. The no boundaries, that's often linked to early beliefs that our worth is measured by how much we do. I've lived it. I've overridden my needs for other people's comfort. I've spent late nights answering emails so no one thought that I wasn't working hard enough. I did the weekend work so they all knew I was dedicated. And really, when we tell ourselves these stories, who are they anyways? If I think back, right, if it was for me, managers, well, I've had like 11 or 12 probably through the years. They're not even here. So if I knew back then that it would be such a short-term little relationship, might I think differently about how influential it all was at the time. And of course, I have done what so many of us do, smiled when I wanted to say no, right? How often do you say yes and smile, and then inside, you really want to say no? Those are the micro moments. When I talk to you every week, it is about the micro moment changes, not a huge sweeping change that needs to be done. It is building your self-belief over and over and over. And when you say yes, but you mean no, that does the opposite. It chips away a slow process. Over time, I've learned that the most powerful thing you can do is trust yourself. Trust yourself to set a standard and to hold it. Boundaries are energy protectors. Perfectionism is a cage, basically, that is dressed up as ambition. It's a lie that we tell ourselves that actually keeps us playing small. And people-pleasing keeps you chasing validation instead of building fulfillment. Our assignment here in life is to live, to find joy. Our assignment is not to look externally for all of that. It is within you. You decide how you want to feel, and then you start living with intention in order to feel that way. And once you begin letting go of the people-pleasing and the perfectionism, that's when you start doing more of what you actually want. But you need to know what that is in order to do more of it, right? So often we're busy running around with the busy badge of honor, trying to please everybody else, that we don't even stop to ask ourselves, what do I want? Do that today. If it's the only thing you do from this podcast, ask yourself, what would bring me joy today? One little thing. It might just be enjoying your Starbucks coffee for a moment in your car by yourself. And as I even talk about that, let's think about redefining what self-care is. Because for you, it might be protecting your calendar from clutter. It might be saying yes to what lights you up and not to the things that are draining you. It might be refusing to be available 24/7 just to prove that you're valuable. You are valuable. Your nervous system isn't wired for constant demand. It needs recovery, it needs stillness, and it needs joy. Here's another fun little side note as far as nervous system regulation and vacation. I did my meditations like I normally do, maybe a little bit less time meditating on vacation. Mark and I worked out every single day. So I didn't change anything with it, the workouts, changed a little bit of the meditation. I actually got more sleep than I normally do. But you know what I did not do? I did not do my breath work. And can I tell you, that changed my aura ring significantly. I was shocked to see the improvements when I came back after 2 days of getting back into my breathwork routine. It is crazy. If you haven't looked at breathwork, I encourage you. Check out even Breathwork with Sandy on YouTube. It's a free opportunity. There are 5-minute breathworks, there are 10-minute, there are longer. It doesn't have to be an all-day affair, right? Just start doing it and you might be amazed. Listen, self-care is not selfish. It is strategic. Your performance improves when you're rested, centered, and emotionally resourced. We want to think about our mind, body, and spirit, right? When you do that, you close better deals. You bounce back quicker. You lead with confidence. So go crazy. Take the damn walk, right? Block the time off your calendar. Cancel the things that you've been dreading. Say no so that you open up to more yes. Your future self will thank you. And you know what? So will everyone else around you, because you show up more fully and you're able to give an entirely different state of energy. Think about that future self. Really, she knows what you need to do in order to keep evolving to become her. Think about what I've talked about here. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, right? Because here's the truth. If you only knew how far you've come, if you only knew how much you've already learned, if you only knew how ready you actually are, you'd stop playing small. You are wise. You are powerful. You are already worthy. And the world needs more good women in this space, not just entering, again, leading. And you do that by first starting to lead yourself. So if you are ready to trust yourself more, do more of what matters, and live into your next evolution, I want to remind you, go grab the Priority Playbook. Get on the email list. It's the perfect starting point. michelleburkecoaching.com/playbook. And once you're on the list, you'll get even more tools and strategies and coaching insights delivered right to your inbox, because this is your time. Let's make it count. Okay, friends, that is what I have for you today. Let's meet back here next week. But for now, make it a great day. Take care. Did you know you can take this work to a deeper level with me one-on-one? Go to michelleburkecoaching.com and click on Get Started to begin.